We are live. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to HealthierLife.tv. Make sure I've got that one right, because sometimes I think I'm on the other one on Wednesday. But this is our last one before the new year. We had a chat about it and decided that no, we weren't coming out on Christmas Day because nobody would watch it. And then the following day's a day or whatever before New Year's Eve or New Year's Eve, one of the two. And yeah, no, it's not going to happen. So we will reconvene in the new year. So, but today we've got an important subject. It's something we have covered before, not together, but it has been covered on here. But it's so important, I thought we'd cover it again. So, and that is the science-based benefits of meditation, which are huge. What are your thoughts about meditation, Warren?
Well, I meditate pretty much every day. I either meditate once a day, twice a day, if I can, 3 times a day. And yeah, for me, I honestly believe that meditation is a fantastic tool for anybody, from kids to the elderly. Yeah, from the healthy to the successful to the unhealthy and derelict.
Yeah, it's I mean, look, I think for me it's about getting in a good frame of mind, being relaxed, having a smile on my face, probably being able to do anything in the day once I've had that time to myself. It's become a way of life for me, and I would recommend meditation to everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of people need it. There's no doubt about it. I think everyone needs it, but I think some need it more than others, obviously, depending on who you are as a person and how you run your life.
Yes.
I could have done without it, but I'm really, really glad I found it. You know. So.
Why is that? Why? What has it done for you that you're that happy that you discovered, or meditation discovered you, depending on how you want to look at it. You look at it from a meditation point of view.
Okay, if I was still in the police, then no, it wouldn't. It helps. You don't have any anger issues. Well, I don't. I never had any anger issues with the police or anything. I taught myself very early on how to deal with stress. Okay, and so that I always had a smile on my face. No, I did. I mean, you knew the stress was there. You knew it was there, but I didn't allow it. No, I allowed it in, but it didn't soak in and stay there, if you see my point.
Oh, yeah. I know.
I knew it was there.
And we all let it in from time to time.
Yeah, I just made a conscious decision not let it affect me. There was so much out there. You could really be like a sponge and soak it all in, and then it's all sitting there. And at some stage, it's going to come out. There were occasions very early on that did happen. But luckily, I was aware, identified it myself, didn't get any help or anything like that. And I thought, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I know what it is. I know what's caused it. It's not going to happen anymore. And I just made a decision. Unfortunately, I think I was lucky. But unfortunately, I think a lot of people take stress in, and then they add another bit on and another bit on, and it's like layering a cake. Unfortunately, they don't let the first bit go.
Yeah.
And it all adds. It's all adds, and it's accumulation. And at some stage, you're going to blow. There she blows.
Especially with people that are confronted with crime on a daily basis, or that kind of stress. The stress or the risk of losing your life or your safety on a daily basis. If you don't know how to diffuse that energy, on a daily or regular basis, sooner than later you're going to explode. You're going to, things are going to get out of hand, and it's.
Yeah, I know. I really get it. I mean, with some people, you see it. It just builds up, builds up, and builds up.
Yeah.
And I learned early on the art of not letting it build up. In fact, I knew it was there. I didn't choose to accept to keep it. I mean, I could go to an incident. Like I've been in an accident. There was. I remember going to one car. I can't tell you everything that went on because it would be unfair to everyone. But basically, I went to one accident. There were two dead 17-year-old boys in the car, and I can't remember. That was probably about 1988, 89, around about that time. Would it be about that time? Yeah, probably. And I have to say that it didn't affect me.
It didn't.
It's a terrible thing to say, but I'd got to the stage after 14, 15 years as a police officer.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's terrible. Don't get me wrong. You have to go and speak to parents and all that, and and I'm not desensitizing from it, because it could really, really affect you. And I wasn't trying to ignore it or anything, but I just chose not to let it affect me. I cannot. I was with two other police officers I knew really well at the scene of the accident, and there were things that went on. You'd shake your head. You would shake your head. I can't tell you. It's because the average person would think it was so bad.
Okay.
I'm talking about the attitude. I mean,
Yes,
they may well have been doing that. The other two officers to alleviate.
Yeah. Or to as a distraction.
I was totally different. I can understand why people in war get PTSD.
Oh yeah.
But what I would say to everyone is, do meditating. Meditate. I'd have laughed if you said that to me 20 years ago. I'd have laughed. I said, "What do you think I am?" Yeah. But now I've done it. I've done it now for years. It's one of the best things, apart from the obvious things like sleep and exercise and that. Meditation is right up there.
You say 20 years ago. I was very fortunate that about approximately 20 years ago, maybe a little bit less, but I stumbled upon a book about transcendental meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And a transcendental meditation, that's deep, heavy meditation. It's like, but I stumbled upon this book, and it was an old copy of the book, and I read it. And it was a little bit too deep for me at that stage, funnily enough. It was a bit too deep. But then I got curious about the idea of meditation in itself as a result of reading that book. And I started to explore meditation and started to sit and meditate on a daily basis in the beginning, not really knowing what I was doing, but I did it. And it helped me a lot at that stage in my life, because at that stage in my life, I was going through a lot personally, a lot of deep stuff, dark stuff. And it helped me get through that. Definitely.
Yeah. I remember going to some retreat out in the middle of the desert in Palm Springs out there. And, where they do these, I think what like a chiming. And there's a noise where they do something around a bowl or something.
Oh, the singing bowls.
Yeah. And I fell fast asleep.
Yeah.
Ignoring. It's just because I wasn't used to it, and because the whole art of when I first started doing it was I used to fall asleep, and I started with relaxation tapes. It wasn't meditation. It wasn't called meditation. Probably the same thing, but it's just a relaxation tape. And I thought, this is great. This is fantastic. And I forgot about it after that. And then someone sort of introduced meditation to me, and then since that time, it's been a permanent fixture. And I wouldn't be.
You may have forgotten about it consciously, but
Oh
subconsciously.
no, not subconsciously, no. But I always remembered. I did remember the fact about the relaxation tapes. But what I'm saying is, I didn't. I think because I didn't have a tape recorder, I didn't just. I had the tape still got it, still got the same tape, the first one.
Okay.
But that was a police. That was an injury in the police, back injury. So they just said, "Do you want to come to a relaxation class?" I went, "Yeah, all right." So, but as
this is another thing about meditating is that more and more, I think, I feel, I get the picture that more and more professional athletes are turning to meditation as well to help them with their healing.
Yeah.
So help their bodies to heal and recover.
Absolutely.
Especially athletes that are involved in contact sports. I believe that they're taking more and more of them are taking to meditating as a means of recovery. So
yeah, because you can link it with confidence and things like that. And I'm an Arsenal fan, and Arsenal at the moment are absolute rubbish. And
you drew the other night, so that's okay.
Yeah, not if you watched the whole game, it wasn't. But what I'm saying is that if I'll tell you now, if these people were meditating properly, and learning a little bit about expectation and confidence, your confidence is never dented.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing I find about meditation. There are certain things like that I've spoken to you about that I've got maybe a weakness in a certain area that I'm working on. Okay, but I'm aware of it. But everything else is fine. Everything else is not. But some of these footballers, you see, there's a lack of. They say, "Oh, it's a lack of confidence." No, it's a lack of doing the right things, habits, and things like that. And one of them is meditation.
And there's and unfortunately, very few people realize you're talking about the title of today's show is the science-based evidence around meditation. Now, one of the things that I've come to learn in recent times is how we are able to heal ourselves personally, and what you can do to heal yourself. And I'm not just talking about from an esoteric point of view. I'm talking about physically healing yourself. And there's a book called The Biology of Belief by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I haven't started reading it yet. It was bought for me as a gift. No, actually, I paid for myself. Actually, I bought it myself, but I haven't started reading it yet. But I'm already learning a lot about the teachings behind that, and that one of the things with meditating is, like you've touched on it just now, is with meditating you start to feel that you are becoming indestructible in many ways. Fear no longer is a part of your life. Yes, you may still experience fear in certain parts of your aspects of your life, but for the most part, fear is it just dissipates. It gets pulled apart from you, through meditation. Whether you intend that to happen or not, it happens. And one of the things that this book, The Biology of Belief, is that when you believe something so strongly, the biology in your body changes, your chemical makeup changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And meditating does this to you. Just through meditating, you start to believe certain things about your life, about others' life around you, and life in general. And like you mentioned about not putting, not making it sound blasé, but the fact that when those two 17-year-olds, you saw them in the vehicle, you didn't feel anything from that. You chose to detach yourself emotionally from that. Okay.
It wasn't, I don't think. Yeah, no, I don't think it was a case of detaching yourself from it. It was a case of I've dealt with it before.
Yeah.
I knew to be fair, to look at them, they didn't. They looked okay. If you see my point, they weren't. There was not a lot of blood or anything like that. Or there wasn't any damage that you could see. And that was important. But I'm just saying that I didn't detach. I knew not to detach myself from it. You know, if you
Okay.
detach yourself from it, that's when you've got problems.
Well, I don't know, but no, because what I was touching on is that, you know, I believe, and I don't think it's something you need to be taught this per se, but one of the things that I believe that happens as a knock-on effect of regular meditation is you learn to realize that death is not a permanent thing. We don't die, essentially. And I believe many people that meditate regularly come to realize this one way or the other. Either they realize it through meditation directly, or they realize it as a result of a coach, like a mentor or a teacher that comes into their life because they've been meditating. And when you start to meditate regularly, you start to attract certain things into your life. And death really isn't something that is should be seen as significant, because, you know, like, for example, like when my mother passed away 2 years ago, I had no emotional attachment to it. You know, my mother.
When my mum died this year, I didn't. It makes sense. Sometimes people could take that as being cold and hard and things like, no. That's not what I'm saying. She had a fantastic life. She reached a fantastic age, 95. It was time for her to go. You know, and the day she died, I just spent 8 hours with her.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I also made sure that I said anything I'd wanted to say to her many years before. Because, you know, they're feeling a guilt when someone dies. Well, I didn't tell them I loved them and all this, you know, you know what it's like. And I made sure I did that years ago when she wasn't suffering from dementia. You know, and even when she was suffering from dementia, I'd still tell her as well. But that was just an addition. I'd already done, you know.
You'd already covered those bases.
I covered the bases, all out of the way, how I felt about her, and, you know, and yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, that's the same thing with me. My mother knew before she passed away. She chose to go. She chose on her own terms. You know, and she passed away peacefully in her sleep. You know, but she chose to go. She had enough. The time was done. And I knew that I had said what I wanted to say to her prior to her going. So there was nothing left. You know, there was no stones left unturned. She knew exactly how much I loved her, and I know how much she loves me. And so when she passed away, it was actually relief for me personally, because I could see it as a relief for her, you know, that she had made that decision to go. And this is the thing. It's one of the things that somehow, I don't know how exactly, and I'm sure science can explain this, but somehow it kind of becomes just an inherent knowing. It's a knowing when you meditate regularly. Somehow divinity just kind of lets you know that it's all okay. You know, it doesn't matter anymore, because when you do meditate regularly, you become so much at peace with yourself.
Yeah, that's the big thing, though, isn't it? It's about
the world around you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it what I find is it helps improve every area of your life.
Definitely.
You know, you in some ways you can't put it into words until you get into meditation. You won't know. And that's how powerful it is.
I've had a meditation on the WC many times. I've meditated often on the toilet. Often I meditate. The reason being is because it's a quiet space. I can sit on the toilet with the lights off, and there's absolutely no energy around me. You know, it's a small room, so I can. And sometimes it's 5 minutes, sometimes it's 10 minutes, and very often it's profound. Very often it's, you know, it doesn't have to be where you need to meditate for an hour or 2 hours for you to realize that the universe is all one and all these kind of things. No, It can be 5 minutes. It can be 10 minutes of your time. And you do that, and it can be so profound. The messages that you receive, or the feeling that you experience, because this is another thing that many people, they try to actualize, or they try to, typical human beings, we need to have some kind of evidence. So they like, oh, I didn't hear a voice, or I didn't you know what I mean? You don't see things all the time. Sometimes it's just a feeling. You feel something that's like, you don't know what it is, but it feels good. You know what I'm talking about. I can see it in your face.
I actually had two things that annoyed me about meditating. It's funny. When I talk about those relaxation tapes, they lasted over half an hour. I mean, I can't afford to give this half an hour every day. And I think the other thing was, and this affects everyone who does meditation, it affects, is the fact that when you start meditating, you can't concentrate. You start thinking about paying the bill, or going to work, or I know but it's natural to do that. Well, I didn't realize for a long time. It's quite natural.
Yeah, it is natural, and this is the thing which many people get. They get flustered with and bothered with meditating, is that I can't stop thinking.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But you don't need to consciously think. When you go into meditation, you think you go in with you want to go in with an intention. Even if you don't have to. You can just go sit on the toilet or wherever they're in your car, and just close your eyes and just enjoy the silence for a moment and not think about a thing. Or you can go into a meditation session with an intention of like, okay, I want to uncover this issue, this challenge in my life, or I would like to see if I can come up with an answer to this or that. Okay. Excuse me. I just had two wraps.
I like M&M as well.
But you don't need to think about it when you go into meditation. You don't want to think. But if you do think, that's fine. Just let it go. When the thought comes to you, just let that thought go. Even if it's like an aha moment, fine. That's perfect. But let it go. Don't try to analyze it in meditation, because then you're not meditating anymore. Now what you're doing is you're analyzing, you're thinking. Because if the moment you start to think and you hold on to a thought, you're not allowing the divine to flow through you, and that's what meditating is.
I agree. It's a learning. I mean, I can now meditate for 2 minutes, and when you've done it a little while, you can do it at a drop of a hat. Literally, bang, 2 minutes, move on. You could do that 5 times a day and only use up 10 minutes. But that's what people think. It's very, very time consuming. It doesn't have to be. If you want it to be, it can be. It's your choice.
You're standing in an elevator. You're going up 12 floors.
Yeah.
You can meditate with 5 other people around you. It doesn't matter. You don't have to start holding your hands like this or anything like that. No, just stand.
There is a specific meditation that uses the fingers, isn't there?
Yeah. What's that?
Is it metta? Is that metta? Is that one?
What's that?
Metta meditation, is it?
What?
It actually uses the fingers. You do, like, I know I've seen Tony Robbins do it, but he does that.
Yeah. Oh, like that. Yeah. This is
So that's a form of meditation.
Yeah. So this, when you're holding your fingers in different positions, it has a different impact on your meditation.
That's right. Because Tony Robbins does that, but he does it in his hour of power, as he calls it. He does that where he does his breath walking.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not going to give you an example, but he does breath walking and he does that at the same time.
Yeah. This is exactly what I was doing for a long time.
Yeah. I've done that quite a few times. It doesn't, at the moment, I've got my bit that I like doing, and it's just basic, really, very basic medication.
There was a time when I did my initiation into shamanism. There was a time during that period and afterwards for a while when I would sit in the beginning of a meditation and I would do this, and I would stop where it felt right. So sometimes I would meditate like that. Sometimes I'd meditate like that. Sometimes I'd meditate like that. It just, I would do this until I felt the need to stop. And when I stopped wherever I was. And it was kind of like it was like just a sense, I didn't try to control the situation, but for a while, it just came to me naturally to do this as I was going into meditation.
If I'd started doing that when I was in the police, and I was trying to meditate with my eyes shut, it wouldn't have been 60 seconds before you then got a telephone directory around your ear. That's the type of environment I was in. So
I can imagine. I can well imagine.
It's quite funny, actually. But anyway, I mean, what I find with meditation is it helps me be self-disciplined, and that's one of the things I'm working on at the moment. And focused attention, that's the other one. And because the other thing is you can add chants in if you want. I mean, not into chants, but affirmations, things like that. There's lots of things you can do. There's many different ways of meditating. But I think
standing up, you can meditate sitting down.
Yeah, there are some brilliant benefits to meditation, and the first one, probably one of the most important ones, is reduction of stress.
Uh-huh.
We all have various degrees of stress. We all deal with it differently, and for me, the ability to release that stress and deal with it in the right way is probably one of the most important benefits you can get from meditation. All right. I don't suffer from stress anymore because I know how to deal with it now after many years of being in the police. And it really doesn't bother me in the slightest, However, doesn't mean to say I'm not going to meditate. So if it can help my stress even more, or lack of it, or however, then I'll meditate anyway. So
this is even more important for you to carry on meditating is when
absolutely.
You don't feel the stress, because now you're even more open, and
very. And because the thing is, if you get stressed out, then you're more liable to be affected by cortisol, which is one of the it's a stress hormone. And you don't want that really. It's all right a little bit, it's fine, it's natural, but constant it can be too much.
Well, I mean that leads to all kinds of fatigue problems.
Disrupted sleep, everything. And so there is magic in what we say, and we didn't think it up. We got it from someone else.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So what if we say don't think for 1 minute that we invented any of this stuff, because we didn't.
And again, don't take what we say as the word written in stone either. Look into it yourself, try it, and just experiment and explore and learn something new for yourself.
So because the thing is, one of the big things is about not getting depressed, and meditation is brilliant at that. It allows you to release tension, and not suffer from anxiety. Self-doubt, worry, fear, all come from uncontrolled thinking. And 99% of fear is just imaginary. It's real to you, the person, but everything. I'll tell you, every time I've been fearful of something, it's never happened.
Well, you're lucky because you're lucky.
There was only one occasion where my fear was realised, which I can't go into on here, but suffice it, I had to run from someone.
Okay.
It's the only time I've ever run in my life. But apart from that,
I thought you did marathons.
I tell you, I broke the 100-meter record that night. But anyway, what I'm trying to say to you is that fear generally doesn't. It exists in your mind, and that's where it is. And
it shouldn't stay there.
No, don't stay there. No.
Yeah, and meditation helps
Deal
get
with
rid
it.
of it.
Learn how to deal with it. So, and as I said, the second thing was controlling anxiety, which can really, really bring you down, right, and make you ill. So, very, very important there. Third thing was promoting emotional health. Now, this is huge, right? And it brings on lots of emotional things, and one of them is emotional intelligence. Okay, and that's one thing that meditating will help you overcome. And when we talk about emotional intelligence, what we're talking about is how you deal with situations and people, how you react.
Yeah.
How you react to what happens in front of you and in your life. And, again, meditation will help you chill out and it'll help you deal with that. So it doesn't become this big mental monster. And that's really what it's about. So have you got any views on emotional awareness and emotional health?
Well, yeah, I mean, I can just, I mean, from my own experiences, it's helped calm me so much. Whereas when I was younger, I was quite a stressed person. I took life very seriously, sometimes too often. Took myself too seriously sometimes. Whereas now meditation has really helped calm me down. It's helped me to see life from a different perspective. And also, I mean, there's been cases in history where people have gone into, say, for example, like prisons and prison centers, and they've started doing meditation programs with the incarcerated, and it's helped to no end. Even with kids, like kids that go to these juvenile centers and that, they start to introduce meditation programs into the system there, and the examples of kids coming out of those systems as a direct result of doing meditation every day. It's huge. It really is, man. And
Yeah.
we unfortunately, if you look at think about it from an emotional point of view, with meditation being very prominent in the East, in the East, in the Far East and the Near East, and that, and only since like the 70s, 60s, and 70s has it become more and more and more prominent within the Western world. Because it's been such a short space of time, you're looking at 50, 60 years. It's the emotional intelligence around meditation, unfortunately, is not quite there yet for the most part. And even many people that get into meditation that come from the Western world, typically, they do it for the wrong reasons, or they do it for not necessarily the wrong reasons, but they do it for reasons that are not necessarily their own.
Yeah.
And this is what I found many cases. People, they kind of do meditation because it's kind of like a cool party trick, so to speak. You understand? And so emotionally, people are not quite there yet for it in many cases. And on the other side of that coin, those people that don't meditate, they look at meditation, especially like, coming from a country like, living in a country like Hungary and a country like South Africa, coming from there, where men they look at meditation as like, what? You want me to do what? Meditate? I don't need to do meditation. I go into the bush and I go, and stuff like that. I go camping, or I go make a fire, and that's my meditation. But they look at it because they think it's something to do with esoteric and spirituality.
I do understand that.
It's got nothing to do with spirituality.
No.
In essence, no.
I find meditation to be the best. Now, not that I've ever taken any illegal drugs, but I've found it the most natural high in the world. Apart from standing on a mountaintop. And so I would never ever be drawn to smoking cannabis, or I'd rather meditate. Meditate's fantastic. Meditation, And the other thing, one of the other things it does is it enhances your self-awareness.
Yeah.
It affects, if you think of anything positive, it affects it.
Yeah.
I mean, everything, exercise, everything. You know, it's sleeping, it helps you sleep as well. It's brilliant stuff, you know. And have you ever done Tai Chi?
I have. I used to do Tai Chi every morning for a period of time.
That's something I
As
really,
part,
really do want to try. So,
as part of my power hour, my golden hour,
yeah,
I
yeah.
used to do Tai Chi for like 20 minutes. Yeah. It's
Mhm.
it's and that is a great form of meditation. So is stretching, just
Yeah, I
stretching.
know. Yeah,
It's
yeah. Stretching's
a
great.
great way. It's a great form of meditation as well because you're focusing within. And with Tai Chi, this is what you're doing. You're focusing your energies from within as you're breathing and you're moving and all that kind of. And martial arts is the same. Like having done Taekwondo in the past,
Mhm.
you know, this is the same kind of principle. You know, when
It's
you
all,
start,
it's all a form of control. You
yes,
you're controlling yourself. You know.
well, yes and no. You, as you say, you're controlling yourself, and in the same breath, you allowing yourself to flow.
Yeah.
You know, you're controlling yourself, but you're allowing yourself to be in the flow at the same time. So this is the beauty of martial arts. Is
And
that
focusing.
yeah,
Mm, yeah. So yeah. And of course, obviously, you've got to believe in your own ability to do something. And again, that's another thing that meditation does. You know, it's just unbelievable. I find it unbelievable. And if you want to make some positive changes in your life, that's one of the ways to go.
self belief,
Yeah, absolutely. Meditation will help you do that. You know, and as I
self
say,
belief, self confidence.
and for those young, say young, it could be any age, but obviously the most people that do the exams and degree courses are the youngsters. Um, and obviously the people that then go again, don't they, and go and do another degree and all that. But if you want a attention span, you know, if you really want to improve it, sharpen your mind and everything else, meditation will help you do that as well. And it will help you focus. It will give you longevity of focus if you want it.
Oh,
And that's very, very important as well. So, excuse me, just coming to the end of a big head cold. So you might hear me, as I say, do a bit more coughing yet.
put your masks on, folks.
Sorry, a mask.
Put your masks on.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah, don't think about masks. If you want to make sure that you complete a task or a series of tasks, or you've got a priority, meditation will help you do that because you can use that time to focus on how you're going to do something. It doesn't have to be totally. You don't have to be totally away with the fairies or anything like that. You know, it's
No.
not. It's not a
Oh,
time.
that's beneficial. Yeah,
Oh yeah, do that as
that's
well. But yeah, I like all different types of meditation. I like ones where you've gone, you know, as well. So, but
and again, look, this. You know, when it comes to troubleshooting and problem solving, we again as people we tend to overthink things too much. You know, we go into meetings for an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, and try to think how to solve a problem. You know, and create a solution to an
that's not
issue. You
that's
know,
not
if
how
you,
that's not
yeah,
how the wealthy do it
well, no, I'm saying we tend to,
in
and
personal
then
development.
I'm talking about the general populace.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
no, yeah, I agree
yeah,
with you totally.
yeah,
Yeah,
and when if you have an issue, if you have a solution that you want to discover the answer to, meditate, meditate on it. Just sit by yourself, and if you want to as well, this is great for couples,
yeah,
for couple therapy. If you and your spouse, your partner are going through some kind of trouble, focus on what it is, okay, that you're experiencing right now. Sit with each other face to face, and if you can, physical contact of some kind. So your knees can be touching, You can place your hand, one person's hand on top of the other, and vice versa, and sit and meditate together on that. You'll be amazed at how profound it is when you and your partner sit together to solve a problem together through meditation. It's like, because sometimes you just connect on a different level. And again, it's not about going off with the fairies and all that kind of stuff. No, it's because what you're doing is you are dropping your guard, okay, and you're allowing the source, you're allowing the influence from the outside to come in, and without you trying to protect yourself, or without you trying to think about whatever, without you trying to analyze and conceptualize, you just let it happen. And if you're doing it like that, this is why group meditations are so powerful. People go into group meditation with a common objective, a common intention, and they sit and they just sit, and then very often people come out with the most amazing, profound ideas as a result of that.
So, it's definitely the best, or one of the best, for ideas, without a shadow of a doubt, because you just get the answers. Don't even make a big thing about it. Just you come up with the answers. The other thing allied very closely to that is solitude. What we did a show a few weeks ago on that, solitude. So that's another way. It's a different level, or different level of thinking.
Yeah,
but very closely aligned. So you could be meditating, and then you could have a little bit of solitude, which you're a little bit more awake. Again, another great way of coming up with ideas. Just sit there and just enjoy it, being on your own, and you'll come up with ideas. Now, obviously, meditation may well help age-related problems like memory loss. I remember quite regularly going into a room to get something, and then when I got there, couldn't remember why I went in there. I just do it a lot, and that happens a lot when you've got an active mind. There's a lot going on. However, by meditating for the last 15 years or whatever, I now find I do not suffer from that very often at all.
Oh, nice.
So that's another added benefit,
Good.
So it just improves your attention and clarity and focus and everything else. So there is a meditation called curtain. What's it? I wrote it down. Kriya. Have you ever heard of that? Oh, that's the one with the fingers. Sorry. Yeah, that's the one with the fingers. Spelled KIRTAN KRIYA. That's the one where you touch the fingers and meditate at the same time.
Okay. I do know the name. Spell it for me.
KIRTAN. So curtain, Kriya, KRIYA. Okay. And it improves performance on a neuropsychological level.
Carry on. Okay, don't worry.
Yeah, and it's especially used for age-related stuff. So that's good.
Very good.
Also, which I didn't realise, is that doing meditating can actually generate kindness. How about that? I like that one. Okay, so and that was the other one I said, metta, METTA. It's and it teaches you loving kindness and things like that, and belief, and so I obviously made that in my notes. I've got my notes on the right hand side here. Not going to go into that too much. If you're interested in that, then, but it does take time. It's an accumulation thing over a period of time.
Okay.
Also, meditation may help you fight addictions.
Yes.
If you need help with addictions, and I know a lot of people do, that's meditate. Don't know why it works. It's obviously all this stuff that's come from studies, and that's why I say science-backed or science-based.
I mean, with meditation, again, you're dropping your guard and your ego is released. And very often with addictions, it's related to ego.
Mm.
For the most part, your ego takes control, and that being your mind, your consciousness, and with meditation, you surpass your consciousness. You bypass your consciousness very often. So you kind of negate that connection now. Now you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
the ego is no longer involved. And this is why people find peace through meditation. Peace can come in many forms, and it can be coming from many directions in order to find that peace. But this is pretty much my understanding of why people that suffer with addictions and meditate overcome their addictions. It's because the ego is no longer a factor.
Yeah, because the bit I said a bit earlier about emotional, okay,
Yes,
this relates to the addiction as well, because the
of course.
addiction, things like food cravings, drugs, binge eating,
It's all emotions. Yeah.
it's all heavily linked, and that's why meditation works so well. I mentioned earlier about improving sleep. That was another one, and it just helps you stay asleep longer. Believe it or
What's
not,
that? Helps you sleep longer.
meditation helps you stay asleep longer.
Oof, I've never had that problem, but yeah.
Well, no, I don't normally,
Yeah,
but it can happen where you
of course.
again, you could be thinking about lots of things. You're not relaxing. So very important there. You need to release the tension. Another one for that is exercise. So there's many ways of, and what you should be doing is crisscrossing things, not
Well,
just one.
I would say you're 100% right there. And a great way to crisscross is that if people are struggling with stress and they're not sleeping regularly or sleeping long enough, if they have like insomnia, as stress-induced insomnia, then personally, I would recommend that. And this is just my opinion, okay? Because if I think about the biology of the system, how our body works, the mind, and what you're actually, the application that you're doing, if you're struggling with that scenario, then exercise either latest early evening or ideally in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and then meditate before you go to sleep. Because
Yeah.
very often people that struggle with stress-induced insomnia or any stress-related issues that prevent them from sleeping, if they exercise in the evening, from what I've found, it's not exclusive, but from what I've found, typically people will not be able to sleep because their bodies are too hyped up now.
Yeah, the adrenaline's pumping.
Because they live under stress all the time. So now that you go and exercise, that stress it's just shoots through the roof. So try to exercise as early as you can, and then meditate before you go to sleep. Just before you go to sleep, go meditate.
It's funny because you say about late in the day. I remember sort of coming home. I say that I think the worst day I did was 22 hours out of 24 in one day, and believe me, you do get a second wind, but you are going through the motions. But I found when I got home, you're so wound up you can't go to sleep anyway.
Yeah, you can't.
So I wish I'd known then about meditation, because I would have meditated. But I did the next best thing. I read a book.
This is what happened with us in the military. When the first day we get to our base, okay, the whole way up on a bus, it took us nearly a day by bus to get there to the base. We were not allowed to sleep on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to the base, and we weren't allowed to sleep for another 2 days. So for 3 days almost, we had no sleep. Okay. And then when they eventually let us go to sleep, we couldn't sleep. None of us could sleep. We were all like wired, like. So yeah, that was horrible. Oh, that was a horrible experience.
Yeah. Well, we're sort of coming to the end now because we've been going to 50 minutes. Just a couple of things to say. Excuse me. Is that meditation can help pain. Gives you a great ability to cope with pain,
Yes.
and also it experience a reduction in the sensation of pain. So that's a very, very good thing. Another one was it can decrease blood pressure, which is very, very important.
Yeah.
You know,
invariably, not just can, invariably.
yeah, it will do. I mean, it makes, if you've got high blood pressure, it makes the heart work harder, and over time that can lead to obviously a heart attack and stroke if it's working too hard and the pump's not working correctly. So all these things link up that we talk about, and that's the reason we talk about sleep, exercise, and everything else.
We both cut out there, Paul, but nevertheless.
Yeah, just about 2 seconds, so that's fine.
Okay.
Anything else you want to say about meditation?
You touched on pain, and I want to just say that for people that are experienced with meditation, I don't know if you've experienced this, but relating to pain, sometimes you can actually see what's causing the pain in the body through meditation.
Mm-hmm.
You can get deep enough to the point where you can actually see the injury. You can see the inflammation in your system. You can literally see it in your mind's eye, what's going on in your body. And it's, again, it's mind blowing, but it's possible for people, and for those folks that watch this video, and if you are not meditating and it's something that you have considered, then I strongly, please, I strongly, I don't want to suggest or recommend, but implore you to please look into meditating for your own good, for your own health, for your own benefit, for nobody else. Because also by the mere fact of you meditating on a regular basis, and if you get into a consistent pattern of meditating and make it a set time, especially in the beginning, because then that way you will create the habit. But set a certain time aside, and if you want to do a guided meditation to start off with, by all means, do a guided meditation. If you just want to try to sit by yourself in silence and try to go into a meditative state, even better if you have that mental fortitude to do that. But nevertheless, either way, however you do it because by the mere fact of you meditating on a daily basis, that is going to impact the lives of the people around you. Your meditating on a daily basis will impact the people that are directly in contact with you on a daily basis, whether they want it or not, and whether you want it to happen or not. It will happen, and it will always be for the good. It'll always be for a good reason.
Just quickly, personally, I like guided meditation better than anything else. And two, I can send you in the right direction just to start off. One is the mindful movement with a lady called Sarah Raymond, and obviously the Honest Guys. They're British, and very, very good starter. But if you just look up those ones, you'll come across all the other ones as well. So, but they're good ones to start with. So
my favorite guided meditations are either by Deepak Chopra, and a very good friend of mine, very close friend of mine, Alan Kleinhans. He does amazing guided meditations.
Also got Abraham Hicks.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Abraham, of course. Esther Hicks.
Esther Hicks. Yeah. So there's loads. You just got to find what works for you.
And the nice thing with Abraham is they have guided meditations that cover all aspects of your life.
Yeah.
Wellness, wealth, health, relationships, and they're not long because they don't profess
about 10 minutes long, aren't they? About 10 minutes?
Not even. I mean, about 10 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes. They're about 10 to 20 minutes long, each one. and they're fantastic. They really are. I'm surprised I forgot about that. Thank you. Thanks for the reminder.
I have to say, I think when I first started listening to them, I don't know if I was slightly embarrassed. I don't know.
I gave them to you
I
to
felt
listen
slightly
to. Right?
uneasy. I felt slightly uneasy when I started doing it.
I gave them to you to listen to, right?
Sorry?
I gave you those copies of those meditations to listen to, correct? The Abraham ones.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So excellent. And they're all, most of the ones I come across are excellent. There's a few dud ones out there, but YouTube's a great place to start, by the way. You'd have to pay for this, by the way. It's free.
No, you don't. Yeah. Meditation should be for free.
Absolutely. And it is, there's loads of them. So you could be very skilled at meditation and not having spent 1 penny.
Yeah.
1 cent or €1 or anything like that. So, right, we're going to go. We've been on, I think it's about the longest one we've ever done. So, I'd like to say from HealthierLife.tv, myself, Paul Bursey, have a fantastic end of the year. Have a fantastic Christmas. Have a brilliant New Year's Eve. Don't get too drunk or don't do anything I wouldn't. Ooh, that's a bit worrying. And then we'll see you very early on in the new year.
Yeah. And if you need to spend some time with somebody and you're isolated on your own over the festive season, don't be shy to ask. Just reach out to somebody. Even myself, I'm open to, if you just want to have a chat, whatever, because I know there are people out there that are not going to be spending Christmas with loved ones for whatever reasons. I know there are. And I know one or two people that are in that predicament. So, just reach out if you need to, please. It's no skin off my back to have a chat with you over Christmas. Trust me. Okay.
One last thing, we forgot to say hello to our friend Mukesh, who came on and said hello.
So, did Mukesh come on and say hello? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Hello, Mukesh.
he came on about 50 minutes ago. We were so into our talk about meditation, we didn't see him. Anyway, that's it. Have a fantastic time. Enjoy the rest of the week and the weekend, and we will speak soon in the new year.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everybody. Namaste.
See you later. Bye.
Ciao.